I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, things like that. You probably know this here is Candace Owens, and she's just recently pitched in on the Marilyn Manson case. And not to my surprise, she took Manson's side. She's saying a lot of things that I said, that Colonel Kurtz said, that people that defended Marilyn Manson said. And by the way, Candace also said a lot of great things about Johnny. She also said very similar things to things that I said, Incredibly Average said, and that Umbrella Guy said, and things like that. So people like Candace Owens tend to take the side of the person being accused when there's no evidence. Now, you might not agree with her on some other things politically, but that's irrelevant. What we're talking about now is Marilyn Manson. So the first thing she says, which you'll be familiar with, is he's an easy target. She says that Marilyn Manson is judged by his looks and thus an easy person to go after with these accusations. She features a picture of him, and there's the first thing that she's saying that we've been saying all along. She mentions that Evan Rachel Wood was the main accuser. She does not mention Ilma Gore, but okay, good enough. She goes on to tell Manson's side of the story, that Marilyn Manson is sticking by, he's innocent, he didn't do any of this. And then Candace mentions the FBI letter and claims that it's verifiably forged and that it was not real. Once again, taking Manson's side. And that's a nice detail that I don't like when people leave out. So good for Candace on that one. And then, of course, Candace mentions Ashley Morgan Smith line. Candace also makes it pretty clear that these women were probably jumping on some kind of a bandwagon, just basically saying things about Marilyn Manson without evidence. Candace doesn't say without evidence, but it's implied. Candace also goes on to say what Ashley Morgan Smithline said about Evan Rachel Wood, that Evan Rachel Wood is full of shit. Then Candace mentions a film called Pretty Persuasion. I haven't seen it, but apparently it's got similar events to what Evan Rachel Wood's doing now. Now, my stance on this is that isn't proof of anything because I defend Manson by saying the things he said in songs and interviews and books don't count because they're fictional. So I can't be a hypocrite. It's a little strange. However, I'd say we can't quite use this against Evan Rachel Wood because I gotta maintain my stance on Manson that fiction is fiction and fact is fact. But I can say Ashley Smithline tells people to watch it and put two and two together. Now, the same people who believe Marilyn Manson's lyrics and books and things like that are some kind of evidence to the abuse should also logically believe that Evan Rachel Wood's movie here is evidence that she was doing this to Manson, these false accusations. You can't have it both ways. You can't cherry pick and choose. You've said for a long time, if you're out there, that Marilyn Manson, based on things he said in a book and song lyrics and interviews, means that he did this abuse. So what you would also have to believe, it's not your choice. By your logic, you've got to believe that because these things are in the movie that Evan Rachel Wood's doing in real life now, well, that's proof that Evan Rachel Wood's doing this. And that's on you. And if you don't believe it, you're a hypocrite. That's a fact. And Candace goes on about it a little bit. It's about Evan Rachel Wood's character making accusations against a teacher to get famous. Not sure how, but I guess in some way, as far as the plot went, these accusations made her famous. So, pretty weird as Candace puts it. And then Candace Owens reminds us of something that you've heard quite a few times on channels like mine, that Evan Rachel Wood and Manson were actually in a loving relationship. Went to Disneyland together, made music videos together, smiled a lot in pictures, and that kind of thing. So, although Candace is late here, she is giving out the best information I think you could give at this point. I mean, she's kind of rounded it all up and packed in the good stuff in like 5 minutes. And then Candace says pretty harshly that if it's proved Evan Rachel Wood did this and it was a hoax, she hopes Evan Rachel Wood goes to prison. Okay, Candace, you got your opinion and you made a good video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know, I'm a little late on this one, although I said Candace was late, but I mean she's like really, really over a year late or something reporting on this. This is like 3 or 4 days here for me. All right, rant done for now. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't consider it and don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.